All right, we'll do it live. Come into the room, come into the room. Oh man, freaking dolls are showing again. You know, I feel like someone's always gonna like make a video about me and be like, those dolls, you know, and it's like, so what, you know? I have a Princess Tiana doll collection. Okay, collection. It's a collection. Ugh, sounding real suburban today. Okay. I guess the suburbs have rubbed off on me. All right, so I'm going to get into this because, as always, I have to make dinner. I don't know why I always decide to do these on the nights that I have to make dinner. I have to make dinner, and I'm making tacos. Okay. And, you know, this was a real, I think, a really important, pivotal video. This video that I'm responding to. I'm not responding to it the way people like. I'm not gonna play it. Like, I don't play videos. If you know me, you know I don't really know how to do all that. So I just don't. I just respond, okay, the way that I am. But I feel like, you know, this video has changed the game. Okay. Thank you, Natasha. Very nice of you. I feel like this video has changed the game, okay? Because one of the things that, oh my gosh, and I don't even, Steph, one of the things that Steph points out, right, is that like a lot of these discussions are being had because of these very bold and brave Gen Y, Gen Z, Gen Y, Gen Z. I don't know who, I'm sorry. Damn. Anyways, right? The young kids, right? They're on TikTok. They're being blunt about a lot of ish. Gen Z. Thank you, Natasha. I knew I could count on you, Natasha. Gen Z. So what you gonna do after Gen Z? Huh? Okay. All right. You'll figure it out later. Right? Well, what are you gonna call them after Gen Z? Huh? You gonna start doing Latin? What? They don't have a plan for what comes after Gen Z, but they named them Gen Z anyways. Okay. All right. All right. Anyways, they've been very blunt and honest on their TikToks, and that's something that I can appreciate as a part of the bullied millennials that just has an understanding that there's just certain things we can't talk about because our generation is so, you know, blinders. I got the blinders, you know, I got the blinders on. And people, you know, there's a narrative already established in this generation that I feel like the Gen Zers are like, no, we're not going to let that just sink in. And I love it. Okay. I don't have pretty privilege. All right. Why did I want to respond to this video? One, because like many people that like this video, right, I admire her boldness. I admire her vulnerability. It's not something that I usually do. I don't have a lot of vulnerability left. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's one thing. And that's something that people don't relate to me, you know, because, you know, people are like, oh, you're very guarded, right? That's something that I get a lot. I used to get you're intimidating, you know, until I got a man, right? And you know, now people will be like, you know, you're kind of guarded, right? You're guarded. And I get that because I've had to be. So I don't really know any other way to be. I like, you know, I'm an artist. I like to perform. So that's where I like to bring things to, you know. I stay away from the vulnerability zone because I'm not good at it. You know, even as an actor, right? And you like have to be vulnerable as an actor. It takes a great deal of work for me to, I probably shouldn't be giving that away, but it doesn't matter because I do the work. I've played a lot of vulnerable characters. I mean, every character is vulnerable or they're not interesting, right? But anyways, I digress. Okay, so I don't have pretty privilege, and she said, and it sucks, right? And I would say I don't have pretty privilege, and I don't give a. Okay, now I've always wanted to have this conversation. But again, I felt like, okay, it's the Gen Zers conversation. It's not a conversation for us. That's why we got to shout out to Steph for, setting the groundwork for this type of conversation, right? For the millennial Gen Zers, not just Gen Zers. Okay, pretty privilege. I don't feel like I have pretty privilege. Okay, it's what it is. Now I have to get into the vulnerability of why I feel like I don't have pretty privilege. Okay. I feel like a lot of what people consider pretty privilege is actually class privilege. Hello! Is actually class privilege. Is actually class privilege. Because class privilege gives you access to networking and connections that poor and working class people don't have. Okay? There's a lot of women that people are like, she's so beautiful, that started out, right? They didn't start out with their pretty privilege. They didn't start out so beautiful, but class privilege helped to position them to be able to, benefit from pretty privilege. Okay? I don't feel like I have pretty privilege because being a Black woman is a very unique experience. As racism is sort of challenged in the mainstream, what seems to be taking over is colorism, honestly, right? And so I'm still feeling that. You see what I'm saying? Whereas a lot of people are being like, I'm still feeling that, right? We're living in a society where people's children are, right? They'll be like, my grandkid is Black, right? It's like your grandkid is biracial or whatever, or maybe they adopted a Black kid or whatever. People are starting to intermingle more. And so people are giving considerations to people that they know are their family members, right? I'm very clearly not a family member of the majority. I've said this before. You can look at all the missing women that a lot of them live in the hood, Black women, right? A lot of them are gorgeous, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Pretty privilege didn't save them. Pretty privilege didn't save them. Whereas pretty privilege is this thing that saves, right? And a great example of pretty privilege saving is Anna Nicole Smith, right? Who, when she passed away, I cried. I don't want to get into it, but I will. Okay, I was really sad because her son had just passed. And I'm an empath. I'm not going to stop saying that on this channel because it's a power, baby. It's a power in the empath. Anyways, I'm an empath. And when she passed, I knew that something within her couldn't stay here, even for her baby girl, because she loved her son so much. Anyways, it was just so sad. That was when I really cared about celebrity. I was like, celebrities! It was a long time ago. Okay. So, let's see. Nia's in the room. What's up, Nia? Thank you for joining. Thank you, Nia! Sorry. Was that annoying? People are like, you're so annoying. But you know what? That's why I loved Steph's video, right? Because she was saying, like, I had to be loud. I had to, you know what I'm saying? I grew up, and y'all know my story. All right. Thank you so much for pointing that out, Nia. Because that's what's up. People desire access, right? And what an attractive person looks like doesn't give you access. It's what the attractive person can get. Right? That's what people want. And that's why it's a lot of ugly people that you know, non-conventionally attractive people that are out there, you know, they doing their thing. People are like, oh, she don't even look good. It don't matter because wealth played a part, networking played a part, colorism played a part, featureism played a part. Okay. Shit. Thank you, Julian. Money makes people attractive. And it goes for the women too. That's why I said, I'm sorry. I was going to say every con begins with K, but con starts with a C. I'm sorry, Kevin Samuels fans. Okay, but you're not going to convince me that men don't find women with money attractive. That's what you're not going to do. And that's why women with money get played a lot, right? Because they're like, oh, well, men only desire women that are attractive. They don't care that you have money. A very attractive man would possibly be sleeping with me and whispering in my ear to get access to my money because men don't want women for their money. That's a nice little con. But I know different. Okay. I don't care. I'm gonna let the secrets out, baby. I'm gonna let the secrets out. Secrets out. Okay, it's all classism. It's all classism. All right. Come on now. Come on now. Okay. Come on now. I can make anything into a musical, baby. That's what I'm talking about. It's one of the reasons why I like Steph's video. There is this like connection, right? Where like girls are like, you know, I try to be like JT, baby, you know, but like sometimes you just want to talk about musicals, right? And Steph was talking about In the Heights, and I like her channel. Again, shout out to Steph. Shout out to Steph for the content. Okay? I give props where props is due. Yes, I do. Because I don't just talk it. I walk it like I talk it. I walk it like I talk it. Okay? Where would Paris be without the money? Come on. Where would Kim K be without the money? There ain't nothing wrong with that. It's just a question. Nicki Minaj. Oh, hold on now. Did you just hear what I was like, Nicki Minaj. Now you know we barbs over here. So tread lightly, all right? You know, I love Nicki Minaj, okay? Onika Mirage. All right, so I just feel like in a racist, colorist society, it's very difficult for Black women to just have pretty privilege. They got to have something else. And again, a lot of times that's classism. And a lot of times it's colorism. When colorism comes into play, relax, everybody relax. Okay. I don't, you know, if you know anything about me on this channel, you know, I'm here for healing. I'm here for poor Black people, middle-class Black people, upper middle class, wealthy Black people. Everybody can join. I'm here for people of all different races, ethnicities, whatever, it don't matter. I'm here for healing. Okay, that's my number one goal. So if I talk about light skin, don't be, she jealous? I'm not jealous of no light skins. I already told y'all that. I got videos on it. Okay, I'm not jealous of no light skins. Yeah, I'm very protective of light-skinned women, if anything. And it didn't change, even though light-skinned women, you know, a lot of light-skinned women, not all of them, but a lot of light-skinned women would get on social media and being like, what's one thing that I noticed is there's a dismissal of colorism as activism, right? There's a dismissal of colorism activism as activism, right? It's, oh, that doesn't matter. That's not important. For who? For you? Because again, I just said, as racism becomes this taboo topic, they're going to keep a structure in place to keep things in check. So what do you think is coming next? Colorism, baby. That's what's next. That's how it's always been. That's how it is in societies where they'll tell you straight up, I got a black uncle, I got a black this and that, my sister dark skin. Don't nobody that know me don't use me as an example of knowing somebody dark skin. Okay, don't do it. Don't do it because y'all don't do the work. Okay, y'all don't do the work. Y'all don't do the work. And Stephanie is a teacher. I'm a teaching artist. A teaching artist is someone who, when they're not jumping up and down in auditions, right, begging for an ounce of respect, all right, they are in schools teaching kids. I teach kids preschool through 12th grade, okay? And I hope one day to teach at a college level because I love acting, I love theater, all that. So I teach kids theater, basically, improv, how to be confident, public speaking. These are very important tools, okay? And they're tools that I use in every facet of life. That includes when you're interacting with men, okay? We're gonna get to that, all right? There are some points that Stephanie had. I wanna hit those points, but I'm not gonna say verbatim or maybe even word for word what she's saying. It's just maybe a point that she made and other people have made it, so I'm gonna respond to that. You guys know how I am. We don't tear people down over here. Unless they suck, okay? Unless they're bad people, and then we'll tear them down. Here's what it is. Okay, so one of the things that Stephanie pointed out was like, she was like, I hate to get all dressed up the way like I got all dressed up, right? And it's 90 degrees outside, so I didn't do it to move around outside today, right? I did it because I'm like, I'm going on YouTube. And that's what I want to do, right? And, it's like, it's hard to get dressed up, go get dressed up, and you go out and like you paid for all your own drinks and you know what I'm saying? Like you hear people and the thing that you have to remember as well is that Stephanie is, 37, right? So she's not like in the age zone where I feel like, you can't expect men to pay for things because they don't have a lot of resources. Like in the age group that she would be dating in, I'm sure she would expect men to have the resources to buy a drink if they want to interact with her. I don't see what's wrong with that. I mean, I don't see what's wrong with that. I don't. Anyways, when I get dressed up, though, the bottom line is, it's like, I'm going to get dressed up for me, because I like to get dressed up and I'm not going to like consider how a man interacts with me. But let's also keep it 100, right? I'm married, so I don't have to consider how I'm interacting with a man. And we're going to get to some of the things that I feel like because of our life experiences, I was able to, even though I share a lot of similarities with her, there were things that I felt like I was able to do that maybe a lot of women like her aren't able to do. And I want to talk about that, okay? Now, I had a guy friend, right? Very popular guy, a ladies' man, okay? And, if you watch my earlier videos when I first started the channel, I was actually underweight. I wasn't emaciated, but for my height, I was a little underweight. And I've been working out. I was very happy and very proud of myself. That's not the weight that I've been at my whole life, right? So my whole life, I've been like I've been chubby. Right? And that helped shield me from a lot of things that I had to deal with growing up in abject poverty, growing up in, the hood, Blackistan, whatever you want to call it, right? It wasn't until I lost the weight that I understood why it meant so much for me to have it in the first place. Because it was a comfort, like it was like padding. Literally, okay? When I was at the weight that I was when I first started the channel, which I'm trying to get back to, but with a different mentality, Okay, so, but when I was at that weight, I would literally you'd bump into the wall. You'd be bruised for like 2 weeks. You'd be in pain, right? You can't just bump into a wall, right? But I got some cushion on me right now, right? I can bump my collarbone into things. You always hear people like their collarbone broke. Like, how did your collarbone break? When it's sharp and exposed because you have a low weight, right? And that varies depending on people's weight. But the point is, and their makeup, okay? But the point is, right, I realized after I lost the weight, I felt very exposed and very vulnerable. And I was like, what the hell? And I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. So what you guys see in those videos when I'm sitting there talking about how I lost the weight, I didn't like how it felt. Not only that, but you know what? I'm gonna jump sidebar into Yanni's response to this video, right? Because Danie made a response to this video and I only got to hear a snippet of it. And I, thought I would come back and be able to hear the rest. And I wasn't able to because she had to put it on private because there was a lot of huff and puff, right? I don't know why there was huff and puff because I didn't hear most of the video, okay? But I will say from the limited social media interactions I've had with Danie, just in the comment section and just in her videos in general, I feel like she's a person who is cognizant of how she benefits from colorism. Okay. And that's more than you can say from most people who benefit from colorism. I'm sorry. That's more than you can say for most people who benefit from colorism. Most people who benefit from colorism will be sitting up here, elitists, classists, don't give a about what it's like to be a dark-skinned woman in America. And I've seen Danie have compassion for that. So, people are quick to try to shut people up and shut people down. Don't like. Okay. But I think that going back to my weight, like as a shield, I feel like that's something that, women who have been heavier before can relate to. Right. And it's just like, when I'm at this weight, yeah, you might get a few glances. I was walking my dog on, by myself and I saw a guy looking at me, and maybe if I was a little bit lighter, who knows what he would have tried. Maybe he would have tried another. And guys are like, don't label us. Listen, I'm a woman. I'm going to label it like I see it. He was given a stare, which was scary. Okay. And I was like, what you looking at? Right. But because I feel like I have a little bit of weight on me, it's like you would think twice. And that's not saying that women my size and heavier aren't assaulted, and all different types of things, because I've been assaulted at this weight as well. Okay. But it's just saying, I still feel a little bit more safer because when I was fit, baby, and anyway, so why I brought up Danie was that I feel like what she's experiencing is something that I experienced when I first lost weight, which was people was like, and you good looking. You think you so good looking, you good looking, and I was like, dude, I'm just, I worked out really hard. I see Danie posting her pictures and stuff. I'm gonna get where props do. I see Danie posting her workout pictures and stuff like that. It's like people work hard to lose weight. That's not easy work. And for people to be negative in response to that and in response to hard-earned self-improvement, whatever, you don't have no credibility with me, so I don't care. Thank you, Natasha. Natasha. And that's fine. We the beehive over here too. Okay. We keep a honeycomb, baby. We keep a honeycomb for the queen. All right. Don't never come from me. But it is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. And that's something that she acknowledges, right? Is like she'll acknowledge that my father worked hard to give us a lot of things. My mother worked hard. That's a blessing. That is a privilege, right? Because not everyone gets parents who worked hard to secure their future. That's going to set you into a space immediately different from all of the many, many people whose parents couldn't be bothered to ensure that they had something in this world. It blows my mind. People were just out here vibing, having babies and vibes. What? It's not right. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, if you're gonna bring me into the world, I need a Johnson & Johnson plan. All right? Baby bonds. Can I get a baby bond? I want my baby bond, baby bond, baby bond. I want my baby bond. How dare you bring me into this ratchet existence and I don't have no baby bonds? You talk about a bag. That matters. Okay, it just does. Sorry, it matters. Thank you, Taylor North. Well, I'm like, ain't nobody benefit from pretty privilege out here. The fuck? That ain't happening. All right, and I think y'all saw that with the elusive preferentials, right? I mean, the way they was setting the stage for these preferentials, you thought for sure it would be white picket fences, diamond rings, homes, infrastructure, industries, infrastructure and industries in these streets. Okay. I was very surprised how things turned out with the preferentials. I was very surprised. Yo. I couldn't believe they did the preferentials like that. And the preferentials, you know, they'll still hold them down. You see Carrie Hilson, you saw our girl Carrie Hilson. They're going to hold them down. All right? That's incredible. If I don't have reciprocity, it'll never happen. Whatever it is you think is going to happen, it'll never happen. With nobody. I just don't do it. Oh, thank you, Jordan. Wow, look how cute she is. Absolutely adorable. I love your hair. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Excuse me? No, I'm joking. Okay, I appreciate your take, Miss Texas, Miss Pretty Texas Tree. Again, back to when I was, I started this channel and I was like really fit. I was extremely uncomfortable, guys. And my body felt better than it ever had, right? Like I felt strong. I love the way my body felt, but mentally, I was like, what is this? Okay. I would literally be in Manhattan. Okay. I would literally be in Manhattan and just whatever store I was in, a guy would offer to pay for whatever it was that I wanted while I was there. Right. I mean, it was crazy. I would like be at the bar and like, of course they'd be like, whatever you want, you and your friends. Right. They would buy me flowers. They would like send people off to like get me flowers. I was extremely uncomfortable, because one of the things Stephanie points out is she said, my father bought things for me and I knew it was because he loved me. And when these guys were doing it, it was like, what do you want? What's the catch? And that's exactly what I felt too. And I was like, what's the catch? Because guess what? I don't give a that you bought $100 flowers just now. I don't care. I didn't ask for that. I'm asking for protection and safety and, someone my age. It's a lot of older guys, and that's predatory to me to have been this young girl and, in my early 20s and guys it was predatory to me the way that older guys kind of move, right? Because they're looking for women that they think need a bag, but then they want to talk about something. Oh, why you need a bag? Why are you leading with the bag? You can lead with a lot of things. If you lead with the bag, drop it off. Neiman, shop it off. If you're gonna lead with the bag, drop it off. Y'all like to play games. Drop the bag off. I was sitting in my car the other day, some people don't get, like, even though I'm fat, I still overweight, whatever. I still get, like, you know, guys, whatever, right? I'm sitting in the car, my car, which is, you know, it's just a little thing. It's not, you know, we don't have leather interiors. Anyways, this guy in a much nicer car, older guy, like rolls his window down and he's like looking, you know, I was like, what do you want? If you were serious about having a conversation with me, where the bag? Where's the bag? You could have thrown a bag over. You could have been waving a little bit, you know, stack. Wave a stack instead of just waving your empty hand. How you wave an empty hand at me? I'm not just in your empty hand. I need a stack. All right? So that's where I'm at. Okay. And those guys hate that. They're like, why do you need a stack? I mean, to be fair, I just said he was an older man in a nice car. And that's what he was leading with. Okay. I think that, you know, I've never put a price tag on what I think a man should be making, because a man can make very little and still give it all to you. Okay. I believe that. Okay. He can do that if he wants to do it. It's like they act like they don't want to do it. Give me your money. Oh, shit. Now someone's going to take that and be like, look what she said. She said, I mean, come on, whatever. I'd love some money. Okay. All right. I was like, what was it all for? What was it all for? Anyways, look, I feel like women that, okay, so again, I had this guy friend who is a ladies' man. And after I lost the weight, where I started making videos on YouTube, he told me, he was like, you are now attractive. He was like, he like crowned me. Like, you know, he's like, it's okay now, right? Like, you can breathe, right? Like, it's like, Nick, whatever. I'm gonna love myself regardless. Anyways, so he like crowned me attractive, right? And he was like, and I was like, well, you know, I was like, I still don't have a boyfriend, right? I was like, it's still hard out here in these streets, you know? He was, you know, a longtime friend. And he was like, this is what he said to me, and this is what I want to say to all the women who relate to not having pretty privilege, right? He said, you know how many women these girls had to get a boyfriend? You're good. And I hate to say that, because I'm not a person that judges people based on body count, if you will. I don't believe in that. I think that women should be able to do whatever they want, okay? Because they don't judge men on it. You know, but be strategic. Okay, ladies, be strategic. So, you know, that was all very new for me, and I wasn't used to it. And yeah, that is when I started dating my husband, right? At that size. And I actually, like, again, I said I was underweight. I was sick. Like, I was not eating enough, and like I was eating garbage, basically. Like, I was working out all the time, but I would eat like a slice of pizza, you know, from a pizza shop with like a C rating. Okay, it was bad times, you know. And my husband, you know, when we started dating, he was like, "You gotta eat," you know. So I'm very thankful to him for that. And I literally, I was, from the videos that you have on, like, I have on YouTube, I weighed less than that when we started dating, you know. I was in New York, you know, you're young and in New York, they call it the New York diet, right? And plus I like worked out every day, you know. So people treated me very poorly. Women were very mean to me. Women bullied me. Women tried to make it out that I was like an airhead. I don't get it. Like, we're in the same classes, we're in the same school. Like, I have more degrees than you. I make smarter moves than you. But like, when you look a certain way, people are like, you're stupid. And then I have to come out with the karate chop. And then all of a sudden it's, oh, she's mean or she's aggressive because I'm dark skinned. Right? Whatever. I cannot have people treating me any old type of way on some that pretty-ish. They did that the first time I lost weight, and that's why I will never tolerate this next time around that I'm working on, getting fit and staying fit for my life. But again, I was made to be so uncomfortable. Women would act like I was like trying to steal their man. I'm like, I'm the most bitch. It's not a bitch more trustworthy than me. It's not a bitch more trustworthy. You know how many I've sent home to I sent him home. I sent your man home. Okay. Now, I grew up in a very religious, circumstances. All right. How religious, you may ask? Well, one of the foster homes I lived in, the woman was a pastor. Okay. So you can imagine how often I went to church. I also went to private Catholic school. And, I grew up a poor Black girl. They send you to church. You are to go to church, even if the adults don't. Every foster home I ever went to, the foster women, I don't like to call them foster mothers because mothers care. The foster women would send us walking, whatever nearest church. I swear to God, on Sunday. And I was in Catholic school on top of that. I know a lot about the Bible. Okay. And, with my mother having so many children, there's 5 of us. There was a lot of shame that they tried to send in her direction, but it didn't land on her. It landed on me, right? I felt the shame that people tried to make my mother feel about having all of these children, right? So, I wasn't interested in dating and guys and sex and kissing and all. I wasn't interested. I didn't see any benefits. Now, when I tell you I had my first real kiss, stage kisses don't count, okay? Because stage kissing since you're 16, right? I had my first real kiss at 22. And no regrets. All I wanted was to keep myself safe from having to repeat the generational curses and cycles that I was born into. That was what I had on my mind at 5, 6, 7, 8, very aware. And because I grew up in foster care, I've shared these stories on this channel as well, right? There were men tried to groom me. There were circumstances where it was very clear that men were trying to groom me because I didn't have any parents. I didn't have any advocates. But you know who I did have? DanieSteel. DanieSteel was there. And, I've heard women say, like, I had to fight like hell growing up in a house with, a predator, stepfather or whatever. I can relate to those women's experiences, right? Where you're like, we'll box it out, right? So a lot of times people see me and they see my confidence and they think, oh, because your husband, you don't know about my husband. Nobody does. None of y'all do. Okay. It's the way I survived the unsurvivable. That's where my confidence comes from. Okay? And I've told you guys this before. Being a dark-skinned Black girl in the hood, people being poor, I didn't have cool sneakers, whatever the hell they were. I was not there to be taken advantage of. I was not stupid. You know, people were very mean. Then so you're fat and you're dark skinned and people are mean. And then you work out and you lose weight for the first time in your life and people are mean. So yes, I had situations where I would be out and men were hitting on me. But what do those situations add up to? They didn't give me a bag. Okay. Nice little flowers or, buying a meal. That's great. But what did those situations lead up to? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And in my everyday life, people were constantly coming against me. So I'm struggling with the whole pretty privilege thing. Again, there are a lot of beautiful Black women that are missing. Their pretty privilege didn't afford them the protection that it affords other women who have pretty privilege. What the hell is pretty privilege in the Black community? What the hell is pretty privilege? Anna Nicole Smith got a bag. All right. Wasn't the bag she wanted for laying up with that old guy, right? It wasn't the bag she wanted, but it was the bag she needed. It got her pretty far, right? Being an attractive woman where there are a lot of poor people. That got her somewhere. I don't see that happening for Black people. Being attractive didn't get me anywhere. I worked hard in school. People aren't listening. I worked hard in school when I didn't have breakfast, I didn't have lunch money, and I didn't have dinner while growing up in neglectful, abusive situations. And it was my access because I had a scholarship to private school, to a PWI, right? That got me to the next school and more access to people I wouldn't elsewise have access to. That's how I met my husband. It wasn't pretty privilege. I don't know what to tell you. I hate to be the one to tell you. You'd be like, oh, why did he choose you over? Because he knew me. We went to college together. We were friends. And it was strong feelings at first sight, but I wouldn't say love at first sight. I don't easily love. And that's the thing too, right? I feel like when you don't have a lot of experience in dating, which is something that Stephanie said that she feels she doesn't really have. And I can relate to that. Before I met my husband, I felt like, before we started dating, because we met each other when I was, when we were in undergrad, and then we started dating when we were both in different grad schools. Okay. I've already explained this, but, it was, just friends that really liked and admired each other, and that grew into something more. I've never had, and I'm telling you, I've had light-skinned women tell me, like, he confessed his love to me. I haven't, besides my husband, no other guy's ever done anything like that. Every experience I had before my husband was like, and that's why I was going to get thee to a nunnery. I was going to get thee to a nunnery. Now, I went to private Catholic school, kindergarten to 12th grade, okay? And I saw that the nuns had a good thing going. They not online saying hashtag men are trash. The nuns had a good thing going. And I thought, I guess that's my next move. Because, what can I do? I really considered it for a moment. I considered going into the military. Ultimately, I fought it out for myself, to try to remain in normal society. But a strong part of me wanted to be a recluse and seclude myself from such a bizarre society to me, just growing up and everybody, they're racists, they're colorists, they're both. It's a lot to deal with. So again, back to my friend saying, right? These women put in a lot of work to get the attention that they get. You have nothing to be jealous of. That's basically, and I wasn't jealous anyways, but I was saying, I haven't gotten a boyfriend from all this hard work. Like I haven't really met, and he knew me. He knew that I was like, a girl kind of like Steph is, right? Where I'm like, I want a nice guy to ask me out. Like, right? I don't want to Netflix and chill. And he was like, relax, that'll come, right? Because, a lot of women that are with a man, they had to go through a lot of men to find that man, right? And that's something that a lot of women who will say, I don't have pretty privilege or I haven't dated a lot, right? It's like, how many people they've dated? They date a lot. Women date a lot of men. And, I know girls that, their first boyfriend is the love of their life. My husband was my first boyfriend, okay? But they were much younger, right? But in general, you have to be willing to be vulnerable. You have to be willing to, you know what I'm saying? Like be vulnerable with men at an early age, which Black women, I don't think are really raised to do. Again, going back to the Christian upbringing that a lot of us have, right? I'm not ready to be, in a room around a guy by myself. Like, I didn't want that at all, and like guys would ask me out. Like, it's not like this. They weren't Prince Harry, it's like, okay, you got asked out. Okay, but who cares if, you're not Idris Elba, but, and before I was 16, I would say, I would appreciate just like some understanding. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Jenny Jones. Jenny Jones is back in the house. Dang, why you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God. Stop lying. And they really thought that they was going to put colorism, activism on the back burner because it's not a problem for them. That's what I was seeing a lot of in these streets. So that's not an important issue. Says who? Because in my work as a teaching artist, teaching these young kids, I found that it is important work. But see, they don't care about the opinions of people who didn't go to the elite schools and don't have elite titles and or aren't YouTube scammers. So it's very hard to like get your opinion to be known. I think that if I had parents, if I started out in the suburbs, like a lot of, blue check Black Twitter people, if my family started out in the suburbs, I think that I probably would have a doctorate from an amazing university too. But I did the best I could growing up in foster care. I had my bachelor's, I got my master's. I did that without my husband. My husband did not help me do none of that. I moved to New York. My husband didn't help me do none of that. But people love to be like, her husband, and I bet that she got this and that because her husband. Y'all sound like y'all want him. I told him to be on the lookout. Oh my God. Stop lying. Absolutely, Melinda. Absolutely. You know, I'd be around the preferentials. And, you know, to be fair, a lot of them didn't like the attention, right? Y'all saw that video of that preferential in the club with her little, you know, with her little pink shorts on, and it was like her and two black women, right? And he went straight for the preferential. He went straight for her, and she was like, ah! She Dave Chappelle'd him. She mushed him. She was like, get out of here. So anyways, the preferentials didn't want it. All right? Nobody wants to be regarded as a sexual object. However, okay, we're going to go back to women that feel like I don't have pretty privilege. You know, men don't hit on me, right? That's what men care about. Okay. And I feel like a lot of y'all, maybe y'all don't understand, because there's women that are not attractive that know damn well they've had plenty of interactions with men. And they can't even say it's because of pretty privilege, but it is because of some type of privilege. Sexual liberation privilege. Sexual liberation privilege. Okay. And that's something that Black women don't have. And we live in a very, you know, increasingly sexually liberated society, right? One of the things I noticed about Steph, what Steph was saying in her video, right, was that she was like, you know, I would be thinking this and I would be thinking that. And she said, and I watched her follow-up video to it as well. And she said people said to her, you know, people can't read your mind. Why don't you say something, right? I know as a woman, you want to be chaste. But women that make y'all think that they got into their relationships because some guy just chased them there are lying. They're lying. Okay, they're lying. With a K. All right, not a G. Okay, they're lying. Okay, they're lying. Because men don't have the courage. That's a lie. That's a myth. That is a myth. And they can sit there and they'll talk to those girls that are attractive because they know nothing's going to happen. So they'll talk to them because they know nothing's going to happen. They do it to practice, you know. And maybe something will happen. Maybe, you know, and they'll be like super happy about that. Men, a lot of dusties don't want to account for the fact that, and I've said this before on this channel, right? A lot of women are in relationships with them because they were incessant about being in a relationship with them. And that's kind of intimidating when you're a man insistent that a woman be in a relationship with you. So you've essentially bullied and pressured this woman into relationship with you. It's not something to be proud of. But a lot of women get into relationships because of that. I've seen it. I've seen it. I've told you guys before, I'm a kind of person where I don't respond to street harassment. So, and I just pray God keeps me safe and I keep it moving. But a lot of women respond to it because they're afraid. And that has normalized street harassment. And men have actually gotten relationships, girlfriends, baby mamas, sugar mamas, etc., from street harassing, catcalling. Yeah, catcalling is one thing. Street harassment, what they do in the club and what they do on the block, should be illegal. So you see what I'm saying? So there are women that are in relationships because that's how they got in the relationship. Because the guy was like, date me, 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 date me. It's like, boy, get out my face. Okay. I would never ever date a guy that insisted and pressured me to do so. That's scary. It's weird. But a lot of women do that. So that's another reason why you would find that you weren't dating guys, right? That's another reason I found out I wasn't dating guys. So I saw a lot of girls getting boyfriends that way. I'm not doing that. No, I don't care. What's next? Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful girl like you, Jordan. You shouldn't have to be thinking about that, worried about that. You know, I think I'm very blessed for as few guys as I did date, you know, getting my husband. But now I want to bring up another factor that I think a lot of girls, a lot of women who feel, men just aren't attracted to me, that they're not considering, right? And besides that, these women that have men are pursuing these men, okay? When I got with my husband, I was back in town and I was like, hey, let's catch up. I wasn't trying to date him. Let's be clear. I wasn't trying to date him, but I was like, I'm in town, let's hang out, right? We went to undergrad together. Now we're both in grad school. And I was looking for some Mary Jane, okay? Mary Jane. And I thought because he's a, white guy, he'll know where the Mary Jane is. He didn't. Can you believe that? Anyways, we went out to a bar and I paid for my drink. Can you believe that? I did, because we weren't dating. We were just friends catching up. And I do not expect a guy to pay for my drink. We're just friends catching up. I do now. And I'll tell you, because so many guys will. They just will. So like, so whatever. Anyways. And we met up and it was great. And we stayed in touch or whatever. But I'll have to be honest. I asked him, I was like, do you like me? Right? I asked him that. I don't know what would have happened, or how long it would have taken, or if there would have been a missed opportunity there if I was just like, goo goo gaga, hoping that he was reading signals and ish. Nah. Right? I was like, do you like me? Like, what's going on here? Okay. So that even I, right, did that. Okay. These women are doing a lot. I know women that are like, they will straight up just, start sexually pleasuring the man. I know women that presented themselves to men. They sit up there telling you, there was rainbows and sunshine. No, you was up there dirty dancing. All right? They do a lot. And you have to understand that. That's something that I didn't start dating my husband until I was 24. Okay. I was 24 and I had never had a boyfriend. And I said to myself, I have to contend with the fact that these girls out here doing things I'm not going to do. I'm not going to Netflix and chill. One, we didn't have Netflix. I'm not going to settle. I'm not going to be forced or pressured. Right? Well, some women will do that. Right? That increases their interactions with men. You have to understand that. You have to understand that. That's how much it sucks out here, right? I mean, people say all the time, the dating scene, right? That's why I encourage you, when you're in college, really make those connections. Okay, that's where a lot of women get their husbands. So yeah, these women are, have not been shamed the way so many Black women are shamed about their sexuality, right? I grew up very shamed about my sexuality, not only in the Black community, but also at PWIs, because I was larger chested, because I've always been, around this size, right? I was larger breasted, right? And, teachers would try to shame me for wearing the same clothes that my friends were wearing, even though I went to an all-girls school. So I never even, back then I was like, what's she worried about? Like the 2 or 3 male teachers that are here, I don't get it. Like, I have to wear a tank top. It's hot. It's the summer. This is what tank tops look like. I was so confused, and it wasn't necessary. It was all part of shaming me. That's it. And it worked. I was very ashamed, right? And covered up as much as I could and hid myself as much as I could. It was through being an actor, and that's why I like to come on here and share those skills that I've learned with you guys, right? It's through being an actor that I learned how to be more liberated, right? Thank God for the arts. One, because I had to play so many characters, because I've had very tough life experiences. I'm strong, and a lot of strong women are sexual women. So I've had to play, very sexual characters. Okay. And that's what helped me to detach from this idea that I couldn't be like that or I couldn't do those things, right? So, you know, women have to understand that you want one thing as a woman. What you want as a woman in a relationship, that's not what men want, right? So to get the guy, right? I call it the old switch and bait and switch, okay? The old bait and switch, all right? Yeah, you wear the top, you wear the low cut, you spruce it up, you do what you gotta, right? Then you get them to fall in love with you. And then you present him with the sweats, okay? And then you say, guess what? I like to wear sweats. Ha, got you, because you're in love, okay? There's nothing wrong with a little bait and switch. They're gonna bait and switch you, you know? But you know, I didn't have a robe for years. I'll put it that way, right? Because I know that my husband, being a man, did not want to see me in a robe, right? I had to buy one at some point because I was like, I'm cold, right? But for years, I just walk around, you know, in a little tank top and shorts. You give these guys what they want, right? Then they give you what you want. Now, I'm going to go into what Stephanie thinks about transactional relationships later, okay? Because she did another video on that, and I haven't watched it, and I want to watch that and respond to that too. But here's what I will say based on what she said so far, right? She's like, you know, I don't like transactional relationships. And it's like Saweetie saying, like, give me the bag, right? The Birkin bag. My husband hasn't given me any Birkin bags, but he did almost buy me a Chanel bag. And the reason I didn't get it was because I was selfless and decided to have those funds spent on a family member instead. Can you believe it? I could have a Chanel bag right now. Anyways, you know, my husband doesn't buy me gifts like that, okay? But you got to give me something. We got to be starting something. You got to be, okay? Because men will take if you don't ask for nothing back. What the hell do I look like? No. So you going to give me something. You going to give me something. Yep. Period. Okay? You know? Like when me and my husband first started dating, right? Like shortly thereafter, you know, he started helping pay for the cell phone bill. That's not a lot. I got to call you, don't I? That was very nice of him. He didn't have to do that. But, you know, like he didn't buy me a Chanel bag, but that was something that he recognized was a need in my life at the time. And he helped me out with that when I needed it, right? I don't feel like that's transactional. I feel like that's, well, I'm, you know, and you have to understand when you're a woman in a relationship, you're giving them a lot emotionally, mentally, physically. It's exhausting. Okay. It's exhausting. Okay. My husband has not ever put his dirty clothes in the dirty clothes hamper. 11 years. And he will put his dirty clothes on the floor right next to the dirty clothes hamper. You don't think I'm owed something for having to deal with that? Because I do. All right? I'm not your mama. All right? And see, that's the other thing. Because I grew up in foster care, I was able to put up with a lot of stuff that I feel like girls who are like, you know, my dad loved me and took care of that, have that supportive father figure in their lives, right? They're like, I'm not going to put up with that, right? So just understand that there's women that will put up with a lot of BS. I put up with it because I didn't know, you know. I was like, okay, I mean, he's not going to do it. He's not going to. Okay, no, I didn't put up with it. I went crazy on him, you know, but he still does it. Okay. So that's a transaction. The way he doesn't put his dirty clothes in the dirty clothes hamper, that's a transaction. All right. That's about $20. $20 right there. Those pants on the floor. Okay. He gonna have to find some way to compensate me for that. Picking up his dirty clothes. Okay. Okay. So I just feel like it's dangerous to enter a relationship with a guy and be like, this isn't going to be transactional. because they're going to take from you. That's like interacting with a robber and being like, I'm not going to, it's not going to be transactional. They're a robber. They're going to take something. That's how these guys are. Okay. So, okay, let's see what else. I got to make tacos. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's women out there, we talk about the modern or traditional woman, right? And I believe that so many things are on a spectrum. I don't see things black and white. I take things from traditional role. I take things from the modern role. But like, I like making my husband dinner. I like to do that so that I know that we're eating healthy, right? My tacos aren't the healthiest, but I try to make them as healthy as possible. Okay. So women that will date a man no matter what, women that will work out every day because they know that men desire a certain physique. I feel like they are to be rewarded. I do. I'm not necessarily one of those women. I get dressed up for me. I do this for me though. Because I didn't even wear like foundation when I started dating my husband. Like, I wore very little makeup. You can see that in my earlier videos. I wore very little makeup. The only reason my makeup game changed is because I like makeup. I like makeup videos and like watching them and like trying to figure stuff out. Yeah. Okay, so I didn't do it for a man. So these women that will get all dressed up for the guy and they work their whole day, like they won't eat, I'm going to eat the second bowl of mac and cheese, right? They're like, no, I've had too much, right? I feel like, hey, you deserve to get the guy. I'm not doing that. I'm going to eat the mac and cheese. You know what I'm saying? And of course, you hope that you'll meet a guy that will accept you as you are. But again, when you have a supportive father, when you have supportive parents, and, even my husband, I tell my husband this, right? Like, I can't do for you what your mama did for you. Okay. I can do something different. I can do something different than what your mama did for you, but I can't do for you what your mama did for you. Okay. It's not hard for people to do something for me because I grew up in foster care, so nobody really did anything for me. But I think a lot of times people have good parents, they're like, they have a sense of what love is, right? And what being in a romantic relationship is. And exactly, Nia. And no one's gonna make you feel the way your parents make you feel. Okay? I'm sorry, but I feel like a lot of people don't understand that. It's not gonna happen. I don't care how much they love and accept you for who you are. They're not going to make you feel the love and acceptance and automatic, basically no reciprocity that your parents make you feel. You got to think about what this dude wants. You're looking at this dude and you're like, well, I got dressed up. Why isn't he looking at me? Okay, but what does he want? What is he thinking of? If they're colorists and or racist, there's nothing you can do. And one of the things that Chrissy talks about that I love, and when she started talking about this, I was like, yes, right? Which is self-esteem in a vacuum, right? We have to acknowledge that people don't have their self-esteem in a vacuum, right? It comes from multiple sources. You can't tell me to start feeling myself and loving myself, and it's just going to be that easy and slick. But what I'm telling you is that work I did on my own because I'm an actor. I didn't do it to date guys. I just wanted to be a better actor, right? So I started doing things in life that I wouldn't normally do. And that's something that you have to do if you're not used to dating guys. You have to be okay with being outside your comfort zone. Again, that doesn't mean that you let anybody use you, right? But what it means is, You know, I would wear stuff, you know, have a little cleavage out, and I'd be like, oh, in my mind, right? I'd be like, oh no, oh no, 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 right? I'd be like, right? But you know, whatever, right? To get the guys, you know, a little cleave when you go out, right? Little cleave. Keep it in mind, okay? I don't know what Team UGC means. Yeah. I feel you, Victory Phoenix. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Savvy's in the house. Awesome. Glad you like it. Pretty Texas tree. Aw, thank you, Savvy. Exactly. You know, I guys would say to me, right? I would be like, you know, guys don't really like me because, you know, I'm a dark-skinned Black woman. And, you know, they would hit on my sisters who were lighter skinned, right? Excuse me. And you know, they'd be like, maybe it's because of, they were trying to like hint at like the fact that I was very closed off and I wasn't like, you know, like doing all that with them, right? They were trying to like hint at that. Like maybe it's because of how you act. You ever thought it was because of how you act? No. Because you know, the preferentials, they're fighting for their lives. Okay, these preferentials are they fighting for their lives. They fighting for their spot, right? I don't have to worry about a spot because I have no spot, so I'm gonna do me, right? So I just feel like, well, preferentials, you know, you guys are working to have top spots with one another. You guys are like working to be like at the top. Ain't no colorist relationship gonna be at the top of me. So you know, I didn't have the personality to match, right? I didn't have this, you can walk all over me, or, you know, and have this like, okay, ain't no okay. Okay. I'm like, I'm watching you. That's what I was doing, right? You know, and guys are like, the hell? You know? So a lot of people will call that intimidating, but again, if you are a guarded person, right? Guys are going to be more drawn to women that aren't guarded. Because as I've told you, guys like women that they can manipulate and take advantage of a lot of times. That's something that you just have to realize as a woman. And so if you like a guy, make him think early on that he can do that. I swear to God. Elsewise, I don't know what to tell you about getting a guy. And my husband is a very nice guy, you know, but like it is what it is. Like I still was like he at all his jokes and stuff when we first started dating. That like now I'm like bait and switch. You can bait and switch him. You're gonna have to, okay? You're gonna have to. If you want to date, like it's fine. You're not compromising your integrity because that's just the game, you know. So bait and switch them, make them laugh. It's a lot of laughing, smiling, right? You know, there are people who've been on YouTube 12 years a YouTuber. You know what I'm saying? Like they put in work every day putting up videos. They're very popular, right? I'm not gonna be on here every day making videos. I can't. I'm on time. So those are the people who are usually they find success. You'll see people now who are just like, I've just been on here for 12 years. And, you know, that's why I'm 12 years a YouTuber and that's why I'm thriving, right? You just see it now, right? It's finally catching up. Their persistence to be successful on this platform. And really one of the only things that they've done is be persistent. People are persistent about getting a man. That's why they get a man. You see what I'm saying? Like, you shouldn't feel like, oh, guys don't want me. You should be proud that, like, I'm not that thirsty for it. So, right? So, you know, we talked about, or maybe we didn't. I just want to reiterate, right? A lot of the privilege that people think is pretty privilege is class privilege. Now, there are women that are like, you know, I grew up in an upper middle class, right? I'm not benefiting off of that. Again, you have to parlay the class privilege into pretty privilege. And that's how it can really work for you, right? That's what I see for Black women working for them. Because Black people are beautiful, right? So it's not hard to be beautiful, right? But it is hard to be rich. And that's what people are interested in. That's what they want. So it's a lot of class privilege. It's a lot of colorism. It's a, you know, there's some featureism, but I feel like at the base is class privilege. Have to have that to get any privilege. Pretty privilege alone is not gonna happen. I'm not in this space because of how I look. I don't have more subscribers. You look at my count, I don't get more views. I don't get, so what? That's what I'm talking about. Like, I don't know what the hell pretty privilege is. I don't. I had to work my ass off. I have hundreds of videos at this point, you know. But people have told me that I have pretty privilege, and I would love to know what the hell that is. Because if I sat on my ass and didn't work as hard as I worked in school, I wouldn't be here. Now she mentions like that she doesn't want to hang out with women like Lori Harvey because they're so beautiful, and you know, you would just be like odd man out, right? Being around her because men would be obsessed with her, right? I understand that, but I feel like I have friends who are very attractive who, if a guy tries to approach, they're like, please leave us alone, right? Like, they're respectful to their friends. And I've also been around women who had really attractive bodies that attracted men from far away with those curves, who, you know, I was friends with this one person who, she would ask me to go out with her in New York. So like Brooklyn, when I like lived in Queens, she'd be like, come meet me in Brooklyn and we'll have dinner. And I would get there and she'd be on her phone the whole time talking to some dude. And then another guy would approach and she'd like leave with that guy, just leave me sitting at the table by myself. I swear to God, I will not be around women like that again. And I, you know, had enough and terminated that connection. But, you know, there are women that are beautiful that you can be with that know to respect their friend in the space. And again, I've had friends that do that are beautiful women, and they're like, leave us alone, right? So I don't think you should worry about that, them being too pretty or whatever, but do worry about the content of their character, right? Because if they're a woman who is validated by the proximity of men, they're going to be very annoying. I find women that are validated by the proximity of men very annoying. And don't get me wrong, I love, like, I have a lot, you know, I've had a lot of guy friends. I love meeting new people, you know, getting to know people, all that, yeah. But the way that so many women are just like zigmatized, I can relate to that. It's like, you got to know what kind of character that they have. She mentioned Steve Harvey saying that he doesn't talk to women basically unless he wants to sleep with them, right? Date them. He doesn't have like female friends, right? And I found that as you get older, men tend to be more like that in general. But it was very dismaying to me before I met my husband, having guy friends, right? And, you know, I mean, you do things for your guy friends, right? One of the things I've talked about before, right, is like guy friends can be very touchy-feely. They can be very handsy and aggressive, and like we put up with a lot being friends with guys. And then if you ask them to help you move or paint the walls, it's a problem because you're not sleeping with them. It's like, I had 2 Black guy friends of mine that, you know, years ago, and they wouldn't help me move. But I saw them flossing, flexing on Facebook or whatever, helping a non-Black woman move. And, you know, it's just very telling. I definitely know what it's like to have to deal with the fact that men only want to like engage you if they can sleep with you, you know, because you can tell this by your further interactions with them, right? So like if you're like they like to hang out, go out and drink, like go to parties, right? But it's like, oh, like, do you want to come over and help me like paint the walls one day? They're like, no. What do you mean no? So why am I hanging out with you and dealing with your annoying ish? You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, it's very usury, and you just have to pay attention to that. Don't waste your time in friendships with guys that are only trying to be friends with a woman because they think that they can sleep with them, you know, because it's a waste of time. So I think because that is the normal thing in the Black community, you know, I did have a lot of gay friends and or non-Black guy friends, because I'm not gonna make you think you can sleep with me, bruh. The fuck you talking about? Fuck out of here. It's weird. Very weird. That's a very weird entitlement. And y'all don't even want to help paint the walls, but you want to paint the walls. Well, okay. All right, moving on. You know, again, I've stated, I think having loving, supportive parents can give you an idea of what to expect from people that's not realistic. Okay. And, Steph said, like, I thought that I was the shit. And then I went into these other spaces and learned, and I think that people had different opinions, right, of me than I knew of in this more contained space. Okay. And I feel like for me, why I was able to find my husband eventually is because I didn't have that. I didn't have, a safe space. So, I was more open to probably a lot of things I shouldn't have been. But if anything got creepy or scary or abusive, like I was like, I'm out of here. Right. Some guy asked me out in New York when I first moved to New York, in my early 20s. And I've told you guys about this before, but I know you guys probably don't know. But, anyways, we went to like Central Park and we were like walking around the park and I could feel it's that empath power, baby. I don't sleep on it. He was very aggressive. And this was a non-Black guy. He was very aggressive and just scary. And I didn't like his energy at all. And I, just plotted on how I was going to get out of that situation, so I didn't know enough to say no to him asking me out, but I knew enough on the first date to never interact with him again. So, it's, and like, I didn't want to have to go on a date with this, like, he seemed fine when he asked me out, but when we got on the date, he was like very insecure. I've told you guys about this before. Guys that are insecure don't mesh well with me. Okay. You gotta have cojones to like interact with me. Because I don't put those buffers that a lot of women put to maintain male relationships. I won't. Go ask your mama for a buffer. I don't have to give y'all a buffer. You're not giving me a buffer. Anyways, so you live and you learn, right? And I feel like it's scary, but if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have known for the next time a guy interacted with me and was that way, that, oh no, this is a guy that can get scary and abusive. I had to learn from the experience of it. I don't recommend, taking chances that feel unsafe, but I do recommend taking chances. You know what I'm saying? So, and again, a lot of people are afraid to do that. I grew up in a way where I had to take chances, because I didn't have a choice. I was very introverted, but nobody cared. Nobody cared that I was an introvert. Like, they were like, take yo outside and get out of my, it was like how they did Uncle Ruckus in the Uncle Ruckus, where he's talking about how he grew up, and he just gets like knocked out left and right. Like, it was ridiculous. Bait and switch. Bait and switch. I don't have nothing else to offer. I got a bait and switch for you. I can't keep up, and like sometimes my husband will be like, what's going on? I can't stand his ass. He'll be like, what's going on? You were so happy. What happened? I'm like, how long you want me to be happy? The hell? I gotta be me. And it's not like I'm not happy. I'm happy. I like to have fun, whatever. But like, all right, I'm gonna get going. I've been on here a long time with y'all. I was 24 people in the room. Oh, please give the room, please thumbs up, please. I'm talking about something that's very, I'm vulnerable. Okay, so thumbs up, please. Support the channel. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up, but I've told you guys this before. When I first started dating my husband, I was like, okay. I was like, this is a smart man. And that means like he's got a lot of things I'm looking for in a guy, right? He's gonna make a lot of people are like, it's your husband! Because your husband got money. My husband didn't have any money when I met him. Thank you. Sorry, but he didn't. He was in school. We were both in school. Then I graduated. He was still in school. And I worked. I worked while he was in school. Do you get it? See, but then they want to talk about some, oh, y'all don't want to build up. Y'all don't want to build up. But that's who you build up. A man with known potential, not some, oh, he was gonna look. I've worked in grocery stores. I've worked at Starbucks. I've worked as a nanny. You know, I'm not classist or elitist when it comes to how you make the money, bruh. I don't give a, but you're gonna have to make it, okay? Because bills gotta be paid. Okay. And when I met my husband, I was like, this dude is going places. I'm sorry, but I didn't know that. And when I told him, do you think I told him that? You think I met him and I was like, I can tell you're going places. No. I was like, what other jokes do you have? Right? Ready to lock it up. Knowing that it wouldn't just happen automatically, right? I was like, there's no way. Like, I didn't expect him to, you know, you're young. You want to work. You know, I love working. I love working hard to get what I want. I love that. Right. But anyways, bottom line is based on the degrees my husband had attained, I knew that he would be successful. Right. So yeah, bait and switched him. Right. Right. And it's not like, you know, so what happened was, okay, so we dated for 5 years before we got engaged. Okay. And they're probably the 5 best years of his life. All right. I gave him that. You got 5 years, bruh. All right. The next 5 are mine. Right. He wasn't ready for that. All right. I was like, do you really think you're just going to be on easy streets? Right. So then once we got married, I was like, here are my terms and conditions. All right. Got him. Bait and switch. Now, I'm not much different than I was, but, you know, there were things, he would do things that would upset me, for example. And I would be very quiet and be like, I just hope that, and that wasn't me trying to be manipulative. I was young and I didn't, my husband was my first relationship. I didn't know how to broach these, subjects or whatever. So I was just like, I'm just going to be quiet and like hope he notices that like I'm upset and that he cares. That didn't ever happen. Okay. You understand that? I'm not going to be up in this relationship, sitting there being all quiet, hoping you care. No, I'm going to make you care. Bop! Okay. All right. Give him that old fashioned bop. Okay. Intellectually, not physically. All right. But I had to let him know. I don't know who you think you're playing with. And, as I'm wrapping it up here, that's what I'm trying to say. And there are women out there, you guys see them. They have their little femininity channels and they're like, to be feminine is to be wealthy, is to be, I'm like, whatever. I've had to work too hard. You're not going to tell me because I put on eyeshadow that I have everything I have because of pretty privilege. It don't work that way. Exactly, Simone. Exactly. And I'm telling you right now, you're not missing out on anything, because let me tell you something. So, you know, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. God damn. All right. But, you know, guys, one of the things that I love about a long-term relationship, and someone told me this years ago, they were like, there's something about a long-term relationship, like lovemaking, okay, that is really incredible because you guys have been together for so long and you know each other so well, right? And that's how I feel about me and my husband, right? I'm like, if a guy doesn't know you, he doesn't know what you like, he doesn't love you, you know, are you even getting anything? You know, out of I mean, you're not going to tell me that there's no transaction involved when you just gave him the goods. You're not going to tell me that there was no transaction involved in that. That didn't mean something to you. You know what I'm saying? And I just felt like I was like, I'm no longer going to be in a situation where I'm giving the goods. And what you giving me? You know? And even though my husband was in school the first year that we dated, he still paid for everything when we went out, yeah, because he had, you know, his little money set to the side. But I've told you guys this before. He said to me on our first date, our first real date, we hung out as friends before we started dating. He said to me, he came to New York to visit me, and that was our first date. Okay. And he said, if you're going to be my girl, I got to pay for you. I was like, the panties coming off. Okay. I never heard something more beautiful in my life. I've never heard something more beautiful in my life. And he's paid for everything ever since. And so it's like, yeah, you know, when the guys are buying me flowers, they're buying me drinks, that doesn't mean anything to me. I mean, you could buy me a bag, I might listen to what you got to say. But, you know, the fact that my husband provides and takes care of everything, that means something to me. It does, because I didn't have that growing up. You know, and a lot of women that are single really can't relate, you know, and they like to push this like, because your husband, relax. All right. He's doing what God called him to do. That's God's work. That's God's work. Taking care of a Black woman. That's God's work. So, you know, and other women have been like, isn't that like a bit controlling? You know, and I'm like, hey, you think, do I look like I'm controllable? You gotta use your brains. I do what I want. You know, you see what I'm saying? Like, he's not controlling me, but at the same time, after years and years of him doing this, right, I realized like I still have to always have my stuff set up for myself. And y'all have even said that on this channel. Y'all been like, okay, well, but what you got set up for yourself, right? Because you know, and my husband has made a commitment to take care of me from the rest of my life, no matter what. Okay. We've been together for over a decade. I'm not really worried about it. But the kind of woman that I am, I got to have my own, right? But I'm not sitting there telling him I got to have my own. I'm not sitting there being like, I'm independent. No, I don't do all that. Take care of me, pay my bills. Thanks. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, and people love to be like, you know, is your husband like a sugar daddy? I met my husband in college. We were friends. He's only a few years older than me. He didn't have a job when we first started dating. You know, you can find an equally yoked person, you know. Now, my husband grew up where his father provided for his mother. So that's the life that he knows. And I took that into consideration when I dated him as well, right? Because I'm like, this is a guy who grew up like this. It's not going to be a question for him. I've told y'all this before. Don't put guys in a situation where if that's something they can't do, to put them in a situation where you're asking them to do that is wrong. You know, I never put my husband in a situation with something that he couldn't handle, right? And that's how a lot of men show that they care. I don't know how men show that they care elsewise, but providing and protecting. I don't know what else they would do. You know what I'm saying? It's very clear. I'm in an interracial relationship. My husband is not going to understand, even though we have similar experiences, right? He does not understand what I go through based on those experiences. Okay? He doesn't understand that. I'm not going to get that from him. Right? So, you know, people will be like, what will we talk about? I try to hook up a chick who told me, I'm tired of 50-50. So I was like, okay, well, I know this guy. But what, he's not, you know, he's not black. What are we going to talk about? How about talking about having your bills paid? That's a lovely conversation. Your bills paid? Mine is. Yours paid? Yeah, you just paid them. Oh, wow. What a wonderful conversation. What are we going to talk about? What are you going to talk about? He's not going to relate to you anyway. Men don't relate to women. Okay. You know, a lot of y'all got to put away like, oh, what if he looks like this? And what will people think? And just be with the best person for the job. Okay. There's not a person that knows me that doesn't think my husband isn't the best person for this job. He's the right man for the job. Okay. I'm not going to put up with a lot of bull. I like my bills paid. Okay. He lets me be me. I'm an artist. Okay. My husband has sat in the audience while I'm like on stage kissing a guy, right? He's very understanding. Things have not been perfect for us. Again, there's been a lot of times where I was like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Right? But, you know, but the love keeps us together, like Trick or Trey said. Trick or Trey. So yeah. Again, I'm very grateful for this conversation because I have felt stifled in this channel, in my life in general, as a millennial, trying to talk about these types of discussions. Bullied out of talking about this kind of stuff, you know, so that some weird narrative goes on where it's all our fault, you know. So I'm very happy that this discussion is being had. I was wanting to have it before, but again, I just felt like it was a Gen Z conversation that I couldn't really have. So I'm very happy that Stephanie has opened the floor for this conversation. I agree with most of what she said. And, you know, anything, I don't have any necessarily disagreements. It's just, I have different experiences. And so I'm going to come at it from my experiences. I know people were giving Danie a hard time talking about this subject. And again, I don't know all that she said in her video, but, you know, I think it's very fair that all women are able to speak on pretty privilege, right? So, you know, I think people have assumptions about me that are totally off and wrong. Nobody knows me. That's one of the things that, like, my husband's like, people, they don't even know you, for people to be like, why are you with this? And why are you doing? Only person that knows me is my husband. My family doesn't know me. They don't care. Okay. And just never have, and I feel like before I go, I'm just gonna get this off my chest. I just feel like thank you, Simone. Again, and I put some eyeshadow on, and that's not why I have anything that I have in life. I work my ass off. I work my ass off. I wouldn't be here if I didn't. Period. And people will act like I'm supposed to humble myself and be like, if it wasn't for my husband. No, if it wasn't for my husband, I wouldn't have a lot of things. Where the ring at? Somebody else would have gave it to me. That's one thing he knows. Because you're not gonna be around me for I don't permadate. I don't permadate. The longer a guy's with you, the more he'll love you and the more he'll do what you want, right? So it's all about finding the guy that you're willing to settle down with, but I feel like people act like, oh, you have this personality because you think that you this and you think you like. No, my personality's been like, I've been like this. Had to have a personality in these streets. All right, when colorism ain't working for you, okay, and even my husband's mother, I feel like she tried to do that. She'd be watching my social media, hater. I feel like she tried to do that, be like, watch out for her. She watch out for what? I've worked hard for everything I have. Nobody gave me anything on some pretty privilege-ish. It didn't happen. Exactly, Nia. Exactly. I mean, I was always grinding. I always had. I'm sorry. You can ask people that knew me in the streets. There's like, you always got money some way, somehow. I was always grinding, and I will be honest. What happened to me was being with my husband. I fell back on the grind. And, I got sick, and that led up to the most recent weight gain experience I've had, but my weight has always fluctuated. And my weight would go up and down, and I would be like, you know what? I'm not going to go on camera. I'm going to take a break and try to lose the weight. And I just decided this time around, I was like, I'm not doing that. Who the hell are any of y'all that I have to lose weight before I cam up? No, I don't care. Like, I'm going to love myself no matter what, so that the next time that I lose this stuff, it will stay off permanently on some healthy-ish. But we got a lot of people trying to equate working out to getting BBLs, and there's no comparison. Now, to each their own. I don't care, but I'm not going to lie to y'all and say I haven't seen the stories of women who the surgeries didn't work out for. And I don't think that it's healthy or good to encourage women to get surgery. Didn't I tell you it's a soul that needs a surgery? Or was that Beyonce that told you that? I would encourage you to work out. I like working out. Me and my husband have been jogging for the past month. And, running times is going up, running times. I like running. I like jogging. I like working out. And for people to be arguing that it's the same thing, it's basically the same thing because you're trying to fit a beauty standard. And let me tell you something. If you're 25 and under, you might think that this is a game. If you're not 25 and under, okay, you will discover, your body will let you know that you have to work out to be healthy. All that sitting on your skipping workout days when you was 25 and under, your body's not gonna tolerate that. You have to move. Motion is lotion, right? You have to move. So, that's fine. That's cool. Whoever, whatever. I totally, we're having general conversations here. But yeah, so that's it. I'm gonna wrap it up. I gotta go. I gotta make this damn taco. Taco. That's from South Park. If anybody, like I loved South Park growing up, and I loved the creators of South Park, and I always wanted to marry a guy that was like as funny as those guys. Like I love funny guys, and my husband's very funny. He's very funny and charming when he can be, but he's also very focused because he's a smart man, and he's very focused, and he's not always trying to bust jokes and entertain me, right? Burrito, I love you, B. You almost make me forget about tacos. I love Barrettes. That's all right. That's all right. Of course, I'm gonna keep it up. I'm not saying anything salacious here. You guys know what we do over here, okay? We whip it like a stir fry. All right, we don't do beef. All right, more of a tofu. No, I'm joking. I don't eat tofu. But yeah, to any woman that's dealing with this, I just want to say that you're not having an experience that no one else can relate to. You know, dealing with weight issues my whole life, being overweight now, right? People that are obese will say, I go to the hospital and the doctor won't listen to me. They tell me I need to lose weight. I go to the hospital, the doctor won't listen to me. They tell me I need to lose weight. I completely relate to that. Completely understand what that's like. Completely understand what it's like, being dark-skinned Black woman in America. I think that there's a lot more women that can relate to not feeling like the cool Black person, right? Because they went to suburban, schools. They grew up in the suburbs, and they went to PWIs, and they had white friends. I had that experience, but after I got done going to PWI, I had to go home to the hood. So I never meet anybody that has that experience. I've never met anyone that's had that experience. And so, it's hard for me, because things, even though I had similar experiences to my estranged siblings, right? Who, and I say estranged because family is not an important enough event, group of people for them. They prefer to nest in other families. But I've always felt othered outside, always. And again, if it's white people were pointing out to me. They were like, you know, they're always like, you're Black. I swear to God, I feel like if there was a Guinness Book of Records, I would have it for how many times white people have told me that I was Black, because a large part of them was like, why are you over here? Like, why are you here? You know, and I got that a lot in liberal spaces. And then I got classism from Black people who, you know, were like, you act, you know, too ghetto or whatever, you know, and my upper middle class family would disapprove. It's a lot to deal with. It's a lot to deal with. So I don't know. I don't know why people think that because of the way I look, I'm having an easier experience or an easier time, because I'm not. I'm not. I don't know. I don't know what people think that I look like or whatever. But the point is, that's, you know, based on, if we're talking about what people tell you. I grew up most of my life people telling me that I was not attractive because I was a dark-skinned Black woman. Now they've changed their minds. Whatever. My changing classes, I think, also plays into that, right? Because I grew up in abject poverty, and now we in the burbs, right? Moving on up. And I think that, you know, people will see me, I'll be out, you know, in my little Michael Kors purse. Okay. You know, and people see something that they want because someone else has it. So yeah, I would just, you know, I'm putting that out there so that people can be more understanding of all the many different experiences out there. You know, I talk a lot about classism because classism really shook me to the core, being treated as less than by other Black people because I was in foster care, and because I was poor, you know. And again, now that I've not in that class anymore, and I'm in, you know, the higher class. Sorry, right? Now everybody wants to act like it was all so easy, and that's some bull. That's some bull. And people close to me want to act like that and be like, oh, well, you think you're too good, blah, blah, blah. No, I think I'm chilling. I think I'm chilling. I think I'm going to enjoy not struggling for once in my life. But, you know, don't treat me like I'm some person that was handed everything. That's bizarre as hell to me. You know, I don't appreciate it. And people trying to do that now, that's lame. You're not gonna get away with it. Okay? I've worked too hard. All right, so that's it. I gotta make these tacos. It's already 9:15. I've been on here with you guys for a long time. Thank you so much for watching. Please like the video. Please be respectful in the comments. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.